Okay, this is unusual, but I felt the need to go ahead and try and do this farm and ranch living for the families who love the land. February, March 2021. On the cover, it's got a little boy, got about 3 or 4 cows, but he's brushing down the cow. And it says Forward Progress. Hardworking farmers ensure a brighter future for everyone. I got this. I have been subscribing to a lot of magazines this year. Okay, let's just go that route. I want to tell you why I've got this magazine. And when I got the invitation from the company to subscribe to this magazine, A, the price is what drew me in. B, there was a beautiful picture of what looked like the Yellowstone Ranch. Imagine that. Anymore, Montana is looking like the dreamland out there. Just saying. And anyway, I got it for a wonderful price, the magazine, for a year. And I thought I will give it a try because the more magazines I read, the more magazines I can recycle to work Mom Deb. And when she gets done with them, they have a community room where she resides, so she can put it in the community room if she doesn't keep the magazine, and the magazine gets a second life. So when I got this magazine, what appealed to me was the ability to pass it on. And who knows, maybe it will land up in the hands of someone who can appreciate it. I just want to share the moments of the book that I thought were interesting. And maybe if anybody's watching this and finds it interesting, they'll find it interesting as well. Find some appreciation from respect for the people who do this for a living. It's very eye-opening. It's very informative, and you just are like going, wow, it's a day in, day out. Sometimes people take too much for granted, and they shouldn't. So when I read this magazine, I just felt moved to share these moments with you, and I hope you enjoy. On page 6 of Farm and Ranch Living, there's a contest going on, and I know some of my Facebook friends might want to participate in this. It says, tell us about your tractor and you could win $500. And it's a My Favorite Tractor Contest 2021 photo and story. It ends May 31st, so you want to visit farmandranchliving.com/contest, and that's with an S on the end, CONTESTS, to enter. It says, if you ever restored a tractor, whether red or green or something in between, enter before and after photos along with a 300-word story about the project for a chance at a $500 grand prize in our My Favorite Tractor contest. We can't wait to hear about all the ups and downs that come with making a beloved tractor look like new or nothing else out there. So if anybody's interested in that, you might want to participate. I really wish you could see the picture section. This is so adorable. There's a little girl who is kissing a donkey. It says, Love in the Life, seasonal photos and stories from the readers on page 9. Pals in the Pasture. Our granddaughter Zena, who was 3 years old when this photo was taken, and Eeyore, then 3 months old, are best buddies on our farm. Zena loves feeding carrots to Eeyore. Now, they have more wonderful pictures that are snapshots. The long haul. My parents, Buster and Pat, worked side by side on their Wayan, Idaho cattle ranch for 51 years. I grew up on that ranch where we fed cows and a team of sleigh in the winter. And both of my folks are now gone, but the photo by Adonia Henry captures who they were. Ruth Gowans from Cedar Valley, Utah. The bride and groom to be. And I love this photo. There's a picture, an artwork picture, where the guy is standing in front of the farmhouse and the woman's got the pitchfork. They've recreated this picture, this young couple. And it says, when I asked my daughter Shale where she and her now husband Noah wanted their engagement photos taken, she said, well, on the farm, of course. Margie Lytle, Wasilla, Alaska. A feather in his cap. This is a funny picture, and I wish I could show it to you. There's actually a chicken sitting on top of this man's cowboy hat. My son Blue and his wife Jan lives on a 25-acre of paradise. Blue is always helping animals. They make his world a happy place, and he says he feels closer to God when he's in the pasture with them. Beverly McMullen, Springdale, Arkansas. This moo's for you. There's this little red-headed little boy, and he's looking in at all these cows through a fence. Our cows are a source of fascination for my son, and he gets so eager to see them. He stands on his tippy toes. Jamie Luthman from Botkins, Ohio. There's this precious little girl. I would say she's very young, maybe about, I would say about 8 months old, holding a baby kid goat. And it says, Fuzzy Friends. My daughter loves the animals on my brother's farm, especially the baby goats. She wants to play and run around with them in the field every day. From Julianne Croxford from West Point, Utah. Again, those pictures do speak 1,000 happy words, funny words, and you can find respect and joy in that. I don't know how far we're going to get in this magazine because I've got so many points of light marked. I do work tomorrow, but I felt moved to share maybe the first half that I can with you from this book. So we'll see what I get done. I found this interesting. It's farm to table, wholehearted. Dad's hole-in-one breakfast still brings her joy. From Alari Prentice, Eden Valley, Minnesota. Now it says Hank Williams' voice, the hee-hawing donkeys, the bellowing cattle, and the gentle scratching of paws on our back door form the music we dance to every week after week at a 60-acre farm that was my childhood home. I can still hear the sizzle and pop of the egg, which cooked as I sat in my chair at the old table overlooking our pasture. The steam from the kettle beside it was almost as warm as Dad's infectious smile, and on Sunday morning, country classics played softly on the kitchen radio. Hey, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? When I was growing up, my dad didn't cook too often, but he loved to make what he called one-eyed chicks. With just 3 steps, it was fast, fun way to prepare breakfast staples. To this day, I smile wide every time I butter a slice of bread, cut a hole in the center, and crack an egg inside. I just love 'em, Dad would say. Now, I've heard people refer to this egg and toast combination by other fun names, including hole-in-one egg in a frame, and toad in the hole. But I'll admit I prefer my childhood original. While it may not be the prettiest meal to grace the griddle, it remains one of my forever favorites, and it has become especially meaningful since Dad passed away in May 2019. Oh, how we missed his Sunday morning one-eyed chicks. In a pan next to one-eyed chicks, my dad prepared heaping helpings, I'll get my wording right, my glasses are not on. A malto meal served with a spoonful of sugar, a splash of milk, and cowboy wink. My father rests now on a hill overlooking the beloved farm that he called home for 47 years. A donkey hee-haws, the cattle still bellow. Dad's old dog Tater scratches the back door eagerly awaiting table scraps. I dance to Hank Williams in the kitchen, and Dad's memory keeps me steady company. They show a picture of the little girl, which must be Ellery Prentice, working alongside her dad. Yeah, it is. And then on the bottom it says that's a picture of her dad, and they were cleaning out the barn, and that was page 14. On page 15, which they share a picture of what it looks like, and then they share a recipe. So you might want to jot down this recipe. Toad in the hole bacon sandwich. Switch up the cheese, pepper jack, and give it a nice kick, or even a sliced kielbasa, ham or sausage in place of bacon in this versatile grilled sandwich. It's from Callie Krong McCreary, Escondido, California. It takes 15 minutes, makes 2 servings. You want to use 4 slices of sourdough bread, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 2 large eggs, 2 slices of cheddar cheese, 4 cooked bacon strips. Now, using a bacon cutter or a round cookie cutter, cut out the center of 1 slice of bread. You're going to discard the center or save for another use. Spread mayonnaise on one side each of the bread slice, and then in a large skillet coated with cooking spray, lightly toast the cutout slice, mayonnaise side down over medium-low heat. Flip, crack an egg into the center, add second bread slice, mayonnaise side down to the skillet. Layer with 1 slice cheese and 2 strips of bacon. Cook covered until egg white is set, yolk is soft set, and cheese has begun to melt. If needed, flip with an egg to finish cooking to assemble. Use solid slice as bottom and the cutout slice as the top. Now you're going to repeat with the remaining ingredients for your second sandwich. Your one sandwich alone is 610 calories, 34 grams of fat, 11 grams saturated fat, 240 milligrams of cholesterol. That's not very healthy, but it looks good. 1,220 milligrams of sodium, 46 grams carb, 4 grams of sugar, 2 grams of fiber, and 30 grams of protein. I might take a picture of that and put it on my Instagram, because it might be one of these things that people, we're not from California, we're from Illinois, so it's a little bit of a cultural difference, and, people might enjoy it. I did take a picture of this. They took this stunning picture of Montana. It says it's the prettiest place. Though these sunflower blooms are long faded and the crisp evening light in Montana turns them radiant, there's a sense of warmth and possibility. The photo credit is by Chuck Haney. And that's page 18 and 19. Oh goodness, we're going to start the story time. Let's try to do half a magazine tonight. And then I probably will get the Pioneer Woman magazine out of the way next. And then we'll come back to this one tomorrow. But this will get us a bit under the way. We'll cover Montana, all of the Montana story. And then tomorrow night we'll cover the California and whatever's left. So this has been a very interesting book for me. I have much more respect, much more thankfulness and gratefulness to know everything that goes into it. And I tell you, it's a learning experience from the book, yes. And granted, I don't do it for day to day, but I do think that I appreciate it more, learning more about it. And I love to read. I love to share. I think there's power in reading. There's knowledge in reading, right? And to share it with you is hopefully giving you an understanding and appreciation to show gratitude and respect to something that we don't do day in, day out. Okay, for Blue Skies and Black Angus. And this is what I wish you could see the picture. This family has all got these black jackets on like Rip wears in Yellowstone. And they've got blue jeans and they've got a little bandana around their neck. It's really, wow. But anyway, it's Ag Dairy. 4 generations keep things running at this cattle ranch in Big Sky Country. And this is starting on page 20, going on. But it says Travis and Tricia Goet pause with their sons Peyton and Michael as they grow up on this multi-generational ranch. The boys have plenty of opportunities to learn the value of family and spending time outdoors. The diary and photos are by Trish, and I hope I don't mispronounce your name, Tricia Goettel from Avon, Montana. Their main product is Black Angus. Their farm organization is Montana Stock Growers, the Rocky Mountain Stock Growers. Their machinery that they use is John Deere and LS tractors. In the spring of 2003, this born and raised city girl from Washington hopped in a car with her sister, Tammy, and friend Billy Joe to make a trip to Montana. We went to see Billy Joe's family cattle ranch in a remote town where there are more cows than there are people. The trip was a complete culture shock, but, long story short, I ended up moving to Montana and marrying my friend's brother, a cowboy named Travis Goettel. Some 16 years later, we are still here on the ranch with Travis's maternal grandparents, Earl and Glenna Stuckey, his parents, Mick and Erling Goettel, Jerry, a longtime hired hand, and our 2 sons, Michael, who's 10, and Peyton, who's 5. There are roughly 18,000 acres in between the family-owned ranch and leased land, upon which we run some 1,000 head of Black Angus cattle. We calve out about 700 per year. We all live on the home ranch and work together to take care of it, and it's leased ranch. The ranch now owns the main herd, but Erling and Mick have another herd, so do Travis and I. Our boys are just starting out with them and their own herds. We run them all together. Each owner has a unique brand and tag color. Travis works the ranch alongside his parents, grandparents, and Jerry. I work a full-time job from my home office and pitch in whenever my work day is done on the weekends. Michael helps when he's not in school. Peyton is Dad's right-hand man as he hasn't started school yet. Right now, our priority is watching the 2-year-old heifers closely since they're getting ready to have their first calves. The older cows who have done this calving thing before, they're treated a little differently. We keep a close eye on them during the day, but we don't check them at night unless a storm rolls in. Now, February 14th, they were waiting on calves. We lease a ranch a few miles down the highway to provide extra grazing ground in the summer and hay for the cows in the winter. Once the hay is gone, we bring the cows home to prepare for calving. This is a relatively simple task. Travis and his parents take the horses and dogs and head to the leased ranch, then gather the cows and move them down the highway, which is a 2-lane, 70-mile-per-hour road that often has quite a bit of traffic for this area. On these days, you hope for good weather and light traffic. In the lead, at the rear, we drive trucks, I'll say it in a minute, sorry, with flags to warn the vehicles entering the highway that there are cattle on the road. We try to let the cars move along while keeping the cattle off to the side. We all went today once the cows got moving, and Mick had fed ahead, so once the cows reached our home meadow, they had feed waiting. They finished just in time for the wind to pick up and more snow to come. February 15th. We artificially inseminate our heifers and pasture breed our cows. We want the heifers to start calving about 3 weeks ahead of the cows, as allows Travis and his parents to dedicate their days and nights to helping the first-time calvers. The heifers stay in the meadow. Don't tell me I paperclipped the whole... Okay, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Where's the rest of the story? Sorry about that. Page 22. Close to the barn. So close that they start showing that they can get sorted off in a heavy bunch. These especially helps at night when the tighter proximity makes it easier to monitor around the clock. We give our cows and heifers a 2-shot vaccine boost, their immunity systems before they calve, and this presents sickness in both baby and mom. Today, Travis, Michael, Peyton, Mick, Earlene, and I work to get second round of shots done. These are a must, so having the weather cooperate was a bonus. Okay, they have a little section here that I want to read to you. It's written by the 10-year-old, okay? And I want you to share this with you. My First 4-H Calf by Michael Gotel, who's at age 10. This was my 3rd year in 4-H. I got to take my heifer Nina and her first calf Bruno to the 2020 fair. Our heifers usually calve in February, but Nina, the, quote, the queena, end quote, which is what I call her, took her time. On April 4th, about midnight, my dad came and woke me up to tell me she was calving. By the time we got out to the barn, she'd given birth to a healthy bull calf. I put a halter on Bruno when he was 2 weeks old. Mom and Dad made me wait until then, and I was so excited to start working with him to get him ready for the fair in August. Every day I would go out and see him and Nina, and it got to where he would come running, and when he saw me, we did really well at our fair. The judge told me Bruno was a nice calf. I can't wait till Nina has a calf next year. I'm hoping she and a heifer so I don't have to sell the calf. That is the hardest part of the project, knowing that Bruno will have to leave this fall. But overall, this has been such a fun adventure. On February 16th, we plow the calving lots before we start calving the heifers. This can be fast or time-consuming depending on the amount of snow. Once the lots are plowed, the guys spread straw out around the heifers and their calves to have dry bedding. Now on February 18th, it was time to sort the heavy heifers, the ones who were bagging up and showing signs of calving soon, so they could be kept close and monitored. Michael was anxious because his 4-H heifer Nina was getting ready to have her first calf. She wasn't showing as much as the others, but she still got to come in and get extra spoiled. New moms and family time. February 22nd. Today was all blue skies and sunshine, with just a little breeze. The best part was we welcomed 3 healthy calves. The heifers successfully calved on their own, which is what we like to see. This time of year, we feed them every morning so they stack yards and they get to taken down once the hay is fed up. Stack yards are wooden panels that guys make to protect our hay bales. We put about 100 hay bales in each stack yard and then fence them off to keep the cattle and elk. So apparently they raise elk too, but they don't mention that in the article. During some of our busy seasons, we don't have a lot of time together away from the ranch, so we get some family time in. Michael, Peyton, and I tag along with Travis. This might be involving graining, feeding, salting, or checking cows. Today, Travis and I had some quiet time, so we grabbed the kids and sleds and snacks and dogs and headed out to take the stockyards down. On February 23rd, our heifer needed some extra help because she couldn't get her calf out. Travis and his folks got her in the barn, gave the calf a pull, and all was good. We're off to a slow start, but since there is a winter weather advisory in effect, we want the girls to be holding those babies inside. The storm is about to hit at 7 p.m. Luckily, it was just wind and snow, and the temperature stayed above freezing. February 24th. After our heifers calve, we move them into the bigger lot until we have around 20 pairs. Then we move all those other pairs into the meadow by Travis and my house, where they get some more freedom. Now, while Travis and Arlene were moving moms and babies, they noticed a heifer out in the meadow all by herself. She had chosen to calve out there. Thankfully, though, the calf was just a little cold, but still healthy. Because of the weather, we decided to bring them both indoors. The calf warmed up in the heat lamp in the shed while Travis got the heifer out of the barn, into the barn. Heifers are more nervous than cows, but this one came easy. We had another heifer who needed a little pulling to help calve, but then she ignored the newborn. Usually you keep working with such a mama until she takes her calf, but there are times she just won't change her mind and the calf becomes a temporary bottle baby or milk cow baby. Each milk cow can raise 2 or 3 motherless calves. That's so sad. Or, well, look who's there. Amazing. I can take my hair down and finish this book with you. I don't know what made this thing all of a sudden decide to work, but hallelujah. Yes, you'll see a nice straightened bed back here, which is unusual, right? Okay. Or the calf is given to a new mom that has recently lost a calf. February 26th. Travis and I were happy today to have our first healthy calf. Michael's heifer is in the barn and will be checked around the clock. And the rest of the girls, Michael and his 4-H friends, all of whom will be excited to have the first time calvers, made a bet. The kid who guessed the closest to the heifer's due date got a prize, and the one who guessed the furthest gets cold water dumped on them at the fair. And now you get to see Michael and his little note that he wrote. You get to see the hay, and this up here, I believe, is his dad. We're going to see here. At 10 years old, Michael's eager to help out with chores. Above is Travis as he sorts the heavy pregnant cows who started to show. This makes it service. Oh, yep, that's Travis. That's the husband. He's there sorting the cows. Okay. So, February 26th. Okay, we read February 26th. February 27th. Every day after school or the first thing in the morning, we head out to the calving lots and give Nina some pellets. She loves being spoiled by Michael and comes when we call. Okay, they show a picture up here of Mick driving the tractor while Travis and Michael prepared to distribute bedding for cow night's lots. Below is Travis and Grandpa Earl. Take a breather. Okay. And then we have Meet the Hall of Famer. Travis Godel's grandfather, Earl Stuckey, describes himself as a cowboy who came up the hard way, working the lifetime to get the ranch together to help the next generation. Earl's old-fashioned ways, such as swinging modern machinery in favor of using horses and dogs to move cattle, helped get him inducted to the 2018 Montana Cowboy Hall of Fame. This was a pretty great honor for a man who has worked very hard to get where he is today, Tricia says. Earl has also earned a spot in the Montana Draft Teamster Hall of Fame for his work with the Pasture draft horses, which his family uses for sleigh rides across the snowy meadows, Donna, and for riding out to feed cattle. Earl belongs to the Montana Stock Growers, Rocky Mountain Stock Growers, and Nevada Creek Water Users, and is a past member of the Tri-County Fair Board. He and Glenna, who were classmates in their youth, belong to the same 4-H club and remain supporters to the organization to this day. That's pretty nice. Okay, we stopped on the good, the bad, and the coyotes. February 28th. Today we hit about 20 pairs who were ready to be moved from the day lots into the pastures, and Travis laid out straw for the cows, having bedding. Now we will slowly move the pairs to the meadow by our house, which the kids will love because it means they get to watch the calves run around every day. February 29th. Last night Michael stayed up with Travis until midnight to go check the heifers. We don't always allow this, but on the weekends he begs to do it, and we like to encourage him to pitch in. It was an uneventful night, but it made him happy, and of course he got to visit Nina. March 1st. Typically coyotes don't bother us. They just roam around and eat mice. They don't tend to get close because of our dogs. But just the other night, Travis and Michael found 2 coyotes in the heifer pairs. And when we went to check on the heifers this evening, we saw another one making its way toward the barnyards. More often, it's the wolves that we have to worry about. This year it seems to be different. We can't afford to have coyotes start killing our calves, so we have to go hunting. March 2nd. Travis and his mom got on the horses so they could sort off the heavies. They also took a peek at the 3-year-old cows that should be starting to calve today. 9 heifers had calves today, including the ranch's first set of twins. A couple of their mamas in the meadow took their calves all the way to the upper end in the brush. Normally that wouldn't be a problem. The brush offers some protection during bad weather, but it also turns them into bait because of the recent coyote sightings. We'll need to push these cows and calves back down to the lower end with everyone else. There were quite a few heifers showing this evening, and more snow in the forecast, so Travis, and there goes the picture again. Oh, it's back. And his dad grabbed portable panels and built more pens in the calving barn, and Grandpa Mick and Michael took to work pitching up the hay, and the heifer's night feeder, Peyton, just played in it. March 3rd. Travis said that they had 15 healthy calves last night, the busiest stretch so far, but now things are going to speed up because Travis and his parents are preparing to calve out 700 cows and continue monitoring the remaining heifers. The day started out fine but didn't end that way. As we walked through the heifers tonight, we noticed that 3-year-olds were in the meadow were running to one area, which is never a good sign. Our instincts were right. A calf had become suffocated because the mother didn't get the amniotic sac off the newborn's head. The boys have seen this before, but we still explain what happened. Michael understands, whereas Peyton is just starting to grasp the reality. March 4th. Like the heifers, our cows are getting vaccines to prevent illness in their newborns. The process takes only a few days to complete since there are so many more cows than heifers. We had planned on working the first bunch of cows today, but the wind was horrendous, so we postponed it until tomorrow. Michael is still on high alert waiting for Nina's calf. March 5th. Today we're going to vaccinate 300 cows plus our second calf, which means things are about to get busy around here. Although it's nice out, the day was bittersweet. A pregnant cow broke her leg, so Mick and Travis Earl performed an emergency C-section on the cow before putting her down. Oh. Delivering a live calf in this type of situation makes the cow's death a little easier to swallow. This is the life. March 6th. It was another sunny day without new snow, abnormal for this time of year, but it made things a little easier with calving. Last year we battled a blast of snow and a negative 20 degrees and ended up with a lot of calves with frozen ears. March 9th. After 2 quiet days, the steady calving with heifers, and the guys began installing hot wire fences across the meadows where the calves will calve, and soon the smooth wire fence hooked up to a solar-powered charger, and it's meant to keep the cows away from the main creek that runs down the meadow. We don't want the cows to calve in the creek or roll over and get on their backs. If this happens, they often can't get up. March 11th. Travis and Erlene and Mick sorted out nearly 300 cows today, putting the heavies in one meadow and the lights in another. They will continue sorting out for the next few days. Travis and I experienced our first loss this year. The cow didn't feel like taking care of her calf and left the amniotic sac over its nose. We had to decide between giving her another cow's new baby or selling her. This cow did not have a good track record, so we decided to sell her. It was a hard decision, but you have to think about the big picture. We lost the C-section calf today, too. It says, Travis returns a calf to its mother after warming it up close. Right, a new mom watches over the twin calves. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Okay. March 12th. We're probably going to end with that part, but I want to go back since we've got actual live feed, if not just myself, but I want you to see these pictures because the pictures are adorable. Okay. It says, I have an amazing husband and in-laws. That's a way of life, teaches our boys a work ethic at a young age and endless expanses of the blue Montana skies. It says, with the tractor engine off, Peyton and Michael hop into the bucket for a photo. The boys stay active on the ranch, shadowing their dad and helping as they are able. There's the boys. See him in the bucket there. And Dad's over here driving. Okay. Okay, March 12th. Last night was cold, windy, and snowy, but the sun was out today and temperatures were rising. A beautiful day to sort cows. They got another 236 sorted today, with a half going to the heavy bunch. Travis usually does this job with his parents. Michael helps if he's not in school. Grandpa Earl doesn't get on horseback anymore after spending his life doing it. Earl was inducted to the Cowboy Hall of Fame last year, which is a great reward for the life he's lived and the ranch he's established. He still keeps an eye on everyone and helps where he can, but these days are more managing than overseeing and everything. March 13th. One of the new calves wasn't getting warm due to 20-mile-an-hour winds and cold temperatures, so we brought him into the warming box for a few hours. After a while, he stood up and bellowed for his mama, and Travis packed him up and returned him to her. March 14th, we started the day at negative 12 degrees with a wind still blowing 15 to 20 miles per hour. On mornings like this, Travis and his parents check the heifers. They also check the 3-year-old cows that were put into their pens last night. If all is good, the animals get turned out for the day, but if the temperatures dip, they have to come back in. March 15th. This time of year is hard with exhaustion kicking us, and Travis and his parents work seemingly nonstop to calve out the ranch cows successfully. Today was the warmer. It started out at 0 degrees with less wind, and then sun's trying to push through the clouds. Cows need a lot of water, so one of the chores when the creeks freeze over is to open a hole in the ice so that the cows can drink. If someone could have asked me 16 years ago if I could see myself living this life on a ranch outside a very small town, I probably would have laughed. Today, well, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I have an amazing husband and in-laws and a way of life that teaches our boys a work ethic at a young age and the endless expanses of the blue Montana sky. Look at this beautiful picture that I posted earlier. That's Montana, y'all. And that's page 18 and 19. I'm keeping these pages marked so I can go back and reference. This is that toad in the hole bacon sandwich, which looks interesting. I will give you that. Me, I always like my eggs scrambled, so I would probably have to scramble the egg and put it in there and then maybe eat it. But I'm not a big fan of sourdough. I don't think. It's been on forever since I had sourdough, I'll be honest. Oh, the snapshots. Loving this life. There's the little girl and the donkey, which is adorable, right? Oh, don't zone out again, camera. It's going to zone out. Oh, there it is. I'm back. Okay, so we've got the long haul, which is the picture up here. This is that couple that took that picture, that iconic photo, okay? Over here, look at the man with the chicken on his head. The little boy looking at the cows. The little girl holding a goat. Okay, now, oh goodness, come on. I wanted to show you guys this thing here, if it'll work. I'm wiggling the cable right now as we speak, trying to get it to work. Well, I think it's stopped, unfortunately. Come on. I'm wiggling the cable again. Well, I'll just reiterate that the contest is ending May 31st. And go to farmandranchliving.com/contest to enter. And it's really, now I can show you the picture. Let me move this off the gentleman's face. He probably wouldn't appreciate a paperclip over his face. There we go. Okay. So, that's the first half of this book. It is so detailed that this is how much we have left to go. Okay? And I really enjoy when they go right down to the details and we find out more, the inner workings. I think that's the best part, to show appreciation and show respect for all that they do, for all that we intake. I mean, you got to be grateful for these things in life, people. And I hope that that's what this video has taught you, is to be grateful for the food that you intake, for the hard work that these people put in, for all of that. It's just a great magazine. So, there we go. This is part one. Part two will come tomorrow. I am going to try and do a little bit of the Pioneer Woman next. That way we can get most of these magazines knocked out, because I have a feeling this week we're going to keep getting some more magazines. So take a deep seat.